Hello fellow pirates! The season 2 of the One Piece live action is confirmed, and today we're talking about all my predictions for season 2 and the ones after. We will talk about scope, episodes, the whole Chopper thing, additional storylines, and of course future seasons. Let's go! So in the beginning, let's talk about the scope. How many seasons are they planning to do? Right now, from what I saw in interviews, they already wrote scripts for season 2 and they already outlined how they could make season 6 or more. So it seems they want to translate the main story points into one arc per season. So with the mentioned season 6, we could even reach the time skip. So let's have that in mind for the plan. The episodes of season 2. Before we head into which episode cover which chapters, I would say let's look at season 1, what they did with it, and from then on we can predict what the future will be. Originally, they planned to have 10 episodes to cover even Loketown from the East Blue Saga, but for budget reason, they cut it down to 8 episodes, covering only up to Arlong Park, which left them with 8 episodes covering 95 manga chapters. So let's plan for 8 episodes for the next season, and then I have an alternative plan if we even got 2 or even 4 more episodes. Because if it's more successful, could be that they give it more budget and more episodes. Also, what they could do in every season, cut the season down to 2 parts and releasing them on different dates. So you have a season 2 first half and a season 2 second half a few weeks apart. This is something Netflix did previously and it would really fit into my plans for season 2. Okay, let's look into the season 1 episodes. So episode 1 covered Romance Dawn with about 7 chapters from the manga. Episode 2 covered Orange Town arc, 14 chapters and things that were cut there. Then we got to Zero Village with episode 3 and 4 that covers 20 chapters in the manga, so it's roughly about 10 chapter per episodes. Then we have episode 5 and 6 covering the Barati, that's 27 chapters of the manga, so it's round about 13 chapters per episode with cuts. And then we got episode 7 and 8 Arlong Park with about 27 chapters, that would be 13 chapters per episode as well with cuts as well. So if we look at season 1, we can say each episode covers about 10 chapters, and if a story part has more chapters than 10, they cut down things. So let's look at season 2, the Alabasta. Of course, we begin with Loketown, from the same saga as last time. The Loketown itself has 5 chapters in the manga, but Oda wanted it to be longer, so it could be longer. That would be around about 5 chapters, and I think in episode 1 we will see Reverse Mountain as well, because Reverse Mountain has only 5 chapters in the manga as well, conclude to 10 chapters, but they will add additional stuff, I guess, with Smoker's flashback. I could really see seeing in the first episode, in the first scene, Roger's execution from Smoker's perspective and ending the episode with Smoker declaring hunting the Straw Hats and going to the Grand Line to catch them. Like in season 1, episode 1, a send off into a new place with a group dynamic. That's our Straw Hats coming from Loketown and sailing away from Reverse Mountain. Then we have the second point of view, which is Smoker as the marine enemy in quotes, who is sailing after them to get the Straw Hats, like in season 1. And then we have our third point of view, and I think they will show us a glimpse of Whiskey Peak in the first episode, like Buggy in the first episode in the first season. That would lead into episode 2, covering the Whiskey Peak stuff. 9 chapters from the manga, fits very well here. You can add so much new things and more crew quality time. I would love this. Then we have episode 3, covering Little Garden. Little Garden in the manga has about 15 chapters, so we will have a few cuts here and there, but it's really the crew who has the time to shine again here. And then we would head with episode 4 into Drum Island. Drum Island has 25 chapters in the manga, and I think we will get this in only 1 episode if we have 8 episodes for the season, because in the manga it covers 25 chapters, but Drum Island was already done into a movie within about an hour. So that wouldn't be a problem at all if you cut out something. And then we have 4 episodes left, only for the Alabasta part of the whole saga. Alabasta originally has 63 chapters in the manga, so we can put it in these 4 episodes. This would be a great way to make a mid-season break as well. Episode 4, then a break, and then begin with 5, 6, 7, 8 for Alabasta again. And I think they will end Alabasta with a cliffhanger for the next Straw Hat. So yeah, this would be my outline for 8 episodes, but if they get 10 episodes for this season, I would love them to get 1 episode for Drum Island additionally and 1 for Alabasta. And if we even get 12 episodes, I would say add 1 to Little Garden, add 1 to Drum Island, which leads us to the next point. Who will play Chopper? How they will realize Chopper? In my opinion, there are 3 ways to do. A. they will go full CGI like Rocket Raccoon or Detective Pikachu and realize it most likely like in the anime. Or B, they made it like Sweet Tooth. So we're talking about the base form here. They make it like in Sweet Tooth, where they have a kid having reindeer features, and this will be his base form and would go in CGI for his other forms. And the third possibility, and my favorite one, would be to realize Chopper as a Muppet/puppet. I'm a big fan of Jim Henson's work, and all of the puppets you ever saw on TVs are mostly made by the Jim Henson Company. From Sesame Street to Dark Crystal to the Muppets to Yoda from Star Wars. They could do so much with Muppets and puppets in general, but I think they could go either for a very realistic, for a very like anime looking Chopper puppet. They could not only go into the more realistic puppet thing, but they could also go more into the unrealistic Muppet look. I don't know if you saw the Muppet Treasure Island movie. When I watched this movie, I have so much Oda in mind, because that's essentially like One Piece. Pirates, but way wackier. I think it could really work well of Oda to include Muppet-like creatures in, because you already have very creative. And a puppeteer is a whole different story. A puppet could be there with the actors in the moment. And if you watch documentaries from the Jim Henson Company or even from the Sesame Street, very often you hear sentences like, every actor in the room feels like the puppets are real people, because it's so realistic that they could look the puppets into the eye, and with the effect of the eyes wobbling and every time watching in one direction and stuff, it really helps the actors to envision a character in front of them, because there's always an actor beneath the puppet. And even in all making-ofs of the Sesame Street, they say every time that new children on the set don't recognize that there are actors beneath the Muppets that play them, because they are so realistic for them. So it is a great addition for the actors in the scene, and also adds for the wacky world of Oda. But it's not my show, it's not that appealing as realizing it with a person, so I think they will go for the Kid Chopper variant. Next up we have additional storylines. So in the first season we had Kobe and Helmeppo got into the story with Garp and traveled alongside destroyed pirates to get them. So I think this role will either be played by Smoker this time, because he will appear in the end of Alabasta and in the beginning with Lopetown. We could get other cover stories in the story, like Hachan's Seafloor story, but Hachan wasn't really integrated in the live action. He is actually named in the credits. It's this person right here, but I really doubt it. They will go into that further. They could add the Warpole cover story after they beat Warpole. I would really love that, because it shows you more things around the world. But I would really love to get more Ace scenes. That we get a build up to Ace before we meet Ace with the Straw Hats, and even go beyond and see Ace searching for Blackbeard and meeting Moda the Milkmaid, for example. But it could be that they pick up this part of the story only during the next season, which leads us to future seasons. They could really well do Sky Island for season 3. It's only 85 chapters, totally doable. For season 4 and 5, it gets a little bit more difficult, because Water 7 has 139 chapters in it, and we need to split it because the first season had round about 90 chapters to cover. So I would make Water 7, which includes Long Ring Longland with 19 chapters, the Water 7 stuff with 53 chapters, and even go a little bit into the Anis Lobby part of the story, and I would include 13 of the 56 chapters that Anis Lobby has, because it would end the season with someone shooting the world government flag. It would be a great point, and I think because then we have in season 5 a long time for Anis Lobby with the remaining 43 chapters and 11 chapters for post Anis Lobby, and then we have a whole half season for Thriller Bark that in the manga has only 48 chapters, so we could really fit in. And as you can see here, for many of these seasons it makes sense to split them into parts, like Netflix loves to do. And for season 6, believe me or not, they could do everything until the time skip. Everything after Thriller Bark has only 108 chapters, and they could totally do it with 8 or 10 episodes for season 6. So we would reach the time skip essentially half of the whole story of One Piece with 6 seasons of the One Piece live action. And that was my whole prediction. Write me your predictions in the comments. How would you want to see Chopper realized? And what favorite Alabasta moments you want to have in the story? Please try to keep it all spoiler free for our OPLA viewers here. And we see us in the next one. Let's set sail.